Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News for Friday, August 17. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. The opposition is calling on the government to ensure that ordinary Jamaicans are given first preference in the divestment of Wigton Windfarm. Speaking at a People's National Party PNP conference in Portland, opposition spokesman on energy Philip Powell said the entity is a viable money-making entity valued at 15 billion Jamaican dollars. He had a warning for Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
I don't want to see it being given to no institutional investors because they're going to ball out. We are watching what happens with Wigton Windfarm. If it's going to be divested, let it be ordinary Jamaicans. Go buy some shares and make some money of that. I beg you, when you buy the shares, hold on to it, man. It's full-time black people. Own something, man.
Wigton Windfarm was incorporated in 2000 and is owned by the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica. The company focuses on renewable energy sources. In the meantime, Mr. Powell says he has received information about politics interfering in some aspects of the energy portfolio.
My investigation so far has led me to believe that at least one agency in the ministry has been embarked on tribal political employment of persons to further the political ambition of certain members of parliament. And that is a very serious matter.
Jamaica earned $2.4 million from Airbnb services in Kingston and St. Andrew last year. Airbnb is an online service for people to list and book accommodation services. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave the update earlier this week.
This is all a part of Brand Jamaica. And the beauty of the Airbnb solution is that it allows the average Jamaican to participate in the hospitality industry and use Brand Jamaica.
Mr. Holness adds that the tourism sector continues to grow, recording a 5.4% increase in the first 6 months of the year.
That's significant. With stopover visitor arrivals increasing by 5.9% and cruise visitors by 4.8%. And we expect that this level of growth will continue for the next 6 months of the year.
He says a straight flight from Munich, Germany to Jamaica will increase the number of visitors from that country and Europe. That flight, he said, became available on July 18 and a round trip costs roughly $500. And the Prime Minister says government institutions will have to review their dress codes now that the government has suspended the no sleeveless policy.
So, for example, hospitals, they have a health concern. So their dress code is designed by virtue of health. But they are obligated to now look at the direction of the government and look at their policy and see what is absolutely necessary for health versus what is just, a general cultural stance against entering public institutions.
Similarly, he said the courts as well as Parliament will look at their own rules.
We will instruct our House Leader to initiate the parliamentary committee to discuss that matter and, of course, bring the standing order in line with. Of course, there's going to be robust debate in Parliament, but I think that the general sentiment for which MPs should pay attention to is that we should align our policies to modern thinking.
The police are warning motorists and motorcycle drivers of a zero-tolerance approach to noise pollution when the new Road Traffic Act comes into effect. Head of the Police Traffic Division, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, said the police will not tolerate loud music from a vehicle and loud sounds from mufflers.
So we are on operation and we stop that motorcycle. The examiner checks it and realizes that he has removed the silencer from the muffler system. Then he will be ticketed his registration plates will be removed because he's now driving a defective vehicle, which is against the road traffic law. The fine currently is $7,500, and it has stepped up with the new road traffic act that is right at our doorstep. So these are things that we'll be doing.
He said strong action will also be taken against persons with colored lights on their vehicles.
Where we stop a vehicle, let's say whatever colored light they might have, we are not going to just prosecute. We are not going to allow for the offense to continue. So it's a clear warning to these persons, not necessarily a seizure, but that vehicle will not be allowed to go until the problem is corrected.
SSP Allen was speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program this morning. Residents of Mount Industry St. Catherine and surrounding communities are upset about the closure of the post office in their area. Residents say path beneficiaries now have to travel 7 to 8 miles to the Harkers Hall post office to collect their checks. They complain that it takes too long for them to receive the benefit.
I came to collect the part check too, and it's very difficult. The crowd, we don't use this thing here, so we need our post office back. We need our post office. We can't manage down here. Akazal and Mount Industry meet. It is very hard.
We want them to work on the post office, that the post office can open even 2 times for the week, and Mount Industry need for them post office. To pack up, we can't get through, too much cussing, be a problem.
Councillor for the Mount Industry Division, Rajay Curlew, stated why the post office was closed.
The supervisor is saying that the room where they're using for the postal agency is not conducive. They are saying that based on the audit that was done by the Auditor General with regards to the postal agencies, they are not making any money. They're open like once or twice per week, and it's just a loss. But I mean, things have to be put in place before you just totally close a postal agency. What about the citizens? What about the residents who have to collect their path checks and other things at the post office? Now, when Mount Industry residents come here and Arkansas residents have to access the service, what is going on down here? And as you can see, it's total chaos.
Mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, Delroy Williams, says he will be addressing water issues now affecting residents in Lawrence Tavern, St. Andrew. This follows a tour of the community on Wednesday.
We have been looking and visiting rural St. Andrew and to see how the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation can assist and to see what other systems we can recommend and work closely together with the NWC to see what systems we can put in place so that we can enhance the supply of water and provide water to the residents of rural St. Andrew.
Mayor Williams says he already has a plan to fix the problem.
We have spoken to residents and there are some ideas we have and there are some solutions that we think are workable that we will put to the NWC, have a discussion with them and to see how the NWC view is on those solutions, and then we move forward with the NWC, working closely together to see how we can remedy the water supply issues here.
The water supply is bad, really bad. So that's why we are out here today to solve the problem and to make the problem even 90% better. Even when you have drought, it can be better if we do the right thing. It struck me to find a way out and come back to him with a design with some of the sources that we have seen. So I'm moving very rapidly on it.
And it's time now for our Fact or Fiction feature. And we are asking, is this fact or fiction? The Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations were first offered in 1979. Find out the answer at the end of the sports segment of the newscast. In news overseas, at least 164 people have died as a result of flooding in southern India. Details from the CNN.
The state of Kerala is reeling under the worst floods. We are right now in Pathanamthitta district, which is one of the worst districts in the Kerala flooding. In fact, almost every district in the state is on red alert. This is Pandalam in Pathanamthitta, and as you can see behind me, this is the situation. This place is completely inundated. This entire town is underwater. You can see rescue machinery in this particular place, trying to get people who are stuck and stranded in several parts of this particular town. There are bylanes that are flooded. There are several other areas behind me that are flooded, from where several people are being taken away into the shelter homes. You can see that almost all these shops and establishments are shut, and people are actually coming out of their homes because their houses are either flooded or there is no electricity or water in their house. So this is the situation that the state is reeling under, and this is unprecedented. It's been raining for the last couple of days, and several people have died, many lakhs in shelter homes. Every possible agency from the state and centre are present to service, be it the Indian Navy, Indian Army, NDRF, or the local police officials, and even volunteers. They're all present to service to do the rescue and relief operations.
And in sports, the president of Netball Jamaica has broken her silence on the resignation of 2 board members, including Communications Director Wayne Lewis, in recent days. Here's TVJ's Spencer Darlington.
Netball Jamaica President Dr. Paula Daly Morris on Thursday confirmed that Communications Director Wayne Lewis has tendered his resignation from the board after serving for almost 2 years. Speaking in an exclusive interview with TVJ Sports, Dr. Daly Morris was diplomatic when addressing the matter.
And I will use his words to explain it. You know, normally when we had other resignation, he would say, you know, when there's someone who resigns, it's an opportunity for someone else to step up to the plate and contribute. So we have always had co-opting members around the board, and one of our co-opting member has already stepped up to the plate to replace Mr. Lewis.
When contacted by phone on Thursday, Lewis indicated he was not yet ready to comment publicly on his resignation. However, our sources revealed that Lewis, whose resignation takes effect on Monday, August 20, had difficulties with the leadership style of Daly Morris and also the interpersonal skills of the president. The Netball Jamaica boss added that Lewis's separation from the local governing body was not acrimonious.
Every time that you volunteer like this, you have to know how much you can do and at what point it will end. And so when you get to that point and you make the decision, we just have to support you. And so we thank you, Mr. Lewis, for everything that you have done. All the best for everything that you will do in the future.
It's further understood that Lewis did not attend a meeting requested by Dr. Daly Morris last Monday, after she had been notified of his resignation by the board. Lewis had just over 3 months remaining in his 2-year term as a director of Netball Jamaica. In the meantime, another director, Michael Boyd, has also tendered his resignation from the board, but he has accepted an invitation to meet with the president, first vice president, and company secretary of Netball Jamaica to discuss his concerns. A report in Tuesday's Star newspaper indicated that Boyd had concerns over a number of issues facing Netball Jamaica, which he believed were not being managed in the right way. Each director is required to serve for 2 years on the board of Netball Jamaica. The resignations by Lewis and Boyd follow that of former Sunshine Girls co-coach Sasha Gay Henry in May. At the time, Henry listed increasing concerns about continuing professional weaknesses in the administration of the sport and family reasons as the major factors for stepping away. Spencer Darlington, TVJ Sports.
And finally this afternoon, the answer to our fact or fiction feature. And we asked you, is this fact or fiction? The Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations were first offered in 1979. And that's a fact. The Caribbean Examinations Council CXC was established in 1972, but offered its first set of exams in 1979 in 5 subject areas. The council then introduced a comprehensive suite of qualifications, including the Caribbean Vocational Qualification and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, better known as CAPE. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Do remember to join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.